Alright guys, welcome back to another Flight Sim Fan video. Today is Rio Day 2. We'll be talking about the back seat and just getting familiar with the back seat cockpit layout in the F-14. Now, if you haven't seen last video, I do recommend to go see it. It's the control mapping video, so we're going to be using that video for the rest of the training. I'm assuming by this point you have all your controls mapped. As always, if you need any help, extended help, either the comments or I'll leave a Discord link in the description. You can find that and post your comments in the public chat as well and fly with our guys all the time. You're welcome to fly with us anytime. So with that, we'll get inside. So we're in the front seat. Let's press back seat here. Okay, so we're going to start from left to right. We're going to work our way around the cockpit from the left to the right. Nothing crazy, just going to go over general overview of where things are. Not going to get into specifics of what things do. Let me see if I can, there we go. Sorry about the clicking. If you hear clicking, that's the keyboard. I have to move the controls. So first thing that we'll look at is the very back left here. We got the oxygen switch. Very important you remember this. So if someone says oxygen, very back left, both in front seat and in the back seat. Coming up there, some knobs for some volume knobs and things for the intercom, ICS intercom switch. So if you're using simple radio, you can actually talk to the pilot in the front seat with simple radio. Okay, moving up from here, some radio panels. So if I want to talk in the Rio seat, the rudder pedals control push to talk left and right. So if I want to talk on VHF or UHF 1, I could do that, or radio 2, or if I want to talk on both. This is simple radio. I like to use this for simple radio as well. I have this on my HOTAS, which is nice and easy to use. Okay, coming left of that is your TACAN, just like in the front seat. Tuned in currently to 74, transmit, receive, TR, and we have an X-ray. Modes in normal. Left of that is the radar cooling. That's on currently. I wonder why the airplane's shaking. Let me go in the front here real quick. What's this guy doing? He's... Wait, what? Let's hope they don't kill us. This is a random mission I loaded, so. Alright, moving up from there is your standard radio here. This is a VHF and UHF radio. The front seat's only UHF, the back seat's both. So we're in preset right now. If I click it once to the right, this knob on the left here, we go to manual. You can tune any frequency you want. Coming up from here is the camera recording system as well. So not recording, yeah, just mainly the camera. And yeah, audio recording here. You have a wide, narrow FOV. Yeah, pretty much all I use on this panel is this. I don't really touch anything else. We leave it in slave to the radar mode. Coming up from there, see if I can move up. I don't think I can, but we have our radar controls, which were in the control mapping videos where pretty much everything was. So we have our azimuth scan, narrow, wider. You have your bar scan here for less bars. This airplane goes all the way up to 8. You can see the elevation changing there. So the higher the bar, the more elevation you're scanning the sky. And some other various radar controls here. Left of that is your ejection seat control. So this is not where you eject from, but if it's in the front, it's set to Rio only, I believe, and in the back, it's set to pilot and Rio. So if you eject with this in the aft position, both seats get ejected. Moving right of this whole panel, we have our kind of central nav system here. I call it that. It's not really called that, but I'm calling it that. You have a keyboard at the top, so if you have to type in coordinates, altitudes, waypoint names, things like that. Below that, you have your kind of category selector. So we have various categories right now in target data. You can see it shows you various things. You can mark things as hostile, as friendlies, data link, tactical data. I can set a waypoint. So various things with this. Nav for aligning, we have own aircraft stored heading alignment like the 16 or the F-18 and things like that. Moving up is our kind of weapons panel. This is more used for air to ground more often than not, not usually for air to air, but we'll start from the bottom here. I never reuse this ever. But if for the weapon missile options, you have Sparrow, SP Sparrow, Pulse Doppler. Normal modes for the missiles, and Phoenix active, so it'll set the missiles right to active off the rail. Next launch controls what target we're going to lock to next in the track while scan. various weapon selectors here, fuel tanks on the side. You have all the stations of the aircraft here for either jettison or wire to ground, things like that. Selective jettison. You have your quantity selector. This is all bomb related up here. So your bomb selectors here. Instant mode for the bombs. What targeting mode is the pilot in. Then you even have a weapon selector over there, which is really hard to see in VR. But moving up from there, you got your instruments. You have actually two sides of instruments, on the left and on the right, so we'll cover both. Currently, you have your artificial horizon here. Radio, this is what radio 1 is set to. This is what the pilot is set to. Altitude, barometric, of course. And speed, same as the front. Speed in the knots, or speed in the inside, Mach on the outside. Okay, moving up. Okay, main part of this takeaway here is the DDD range modes for just pulse mode radar, and your radar modes are on this side here. That's the main takeaway. You also got IFF on the right. You have your main radar modes here, so range while scan, pulse Doppler scan, track while scan auto, track while scan manual, pulse search, and then you have two others that we'll talk about later, but they kind of get you in a different lock mode. You can switch from PD search into a pulse, or I can switch from pulse into PD, or anything I want to do there. Okay, moving to the right here, RWR, pretty important. Clock, so radar warning receiver, if you're not aware, by the way. Anything that sees you with radar will pop up here. So if an F-15 was looking at us with radar, it's a 1.5 with a little hat on it. Clock over here, total fuel, that's complete total. You have a heading indicator. These actually do have TACANs. You have TACAN 1, TACAN 2, and the distance will be read in there as well. Okay, moving to the left. TID, it's your main big screen here, tactical information display. Various nav modes on the left for aligning, so off, ground alignment, carrier alignment, CAT, INS, or an INS, and it always stays in INS usually. On the right, destination, you can pick what waypoint you want, waypoint 1, 2, or 3. You only have 3 choices. Then you also have like an IP or a home base. You can fill out that as you like, make coordinates to that. Below the TID here, there's various selectors you can select. So you can turn data link filter off. You can do jam strobes off. There's just multiple things that you can turn off or on. So if it's getting too cluttered, you can declutter down here. TID modes, different modes of the TID. Get the camera, ground stab, various things down there. Range. Down here, you got your HCU, your hand control unit. And just above that, you got your radar switch. So we're currently in XMIT mode, which is all the way forward. And TV mode, TV is all the way on, so the TV is operating. If I turn it off, it doesn't work. Pretty simple. Left of that is your hand control unit modes. I won't go into these too much, but just know that the hand control unit modes are to the left of the stick. You got DDD cursor mode, radar cursor mode, TV cursor mode. This basically tells your hand control what you're controlling. So right now we're in TID. I can control the TID. If I go up to TV, I can control where the camera's looking and various things. Okay, moving down, ejection handle, and we'll come to the right. Got your nav display. So this displays pretty much the same in the front seat. So if you're looking for a TACAN information on this, you got to make sure that the pilot in the front is set to TACAN mode or whatever mode you want to be in. If you want a waypoint, it has to be in destination. That'll only show what the pilot sets, and that for the pilot is over here. You got TACAN mode, AWL for landing, destination for waypoints. So hit TACAN. Notice we have TACAN information now. So it's that way at 90 miles. Moving down, some warning panels here. You also got RWR warning, radar warning receiver here, power switch, some various tests and things. DECM, your jammer is down here, currently in standby. Okay, moving down from that, you got your countermeasure panel, and let the pilot know how much you got of each chaff or flare, and you can program here what you have. Down from there is your programs. So if you want to set a certain program, a certain amount of chaff and flare per hit, you can do that. I usually just use chaff single and chaff flare, or flare single, so I can just control how much. That's the way I like to do it. Back at the top, we got our data link power switch and the channel that you have tuned in. Below that, Kane's waypoint and the power switch for the Kane's waypoint. This only goes on in carriers just for alignment purposes. Below that, interior lighting, kind of like the front seat. Below that, your IFF, squawk code and everything, which doesn't really get used in DCS. I think I pretty much covered everything for the most part. As a general basics, that's kind of the area of the cockpit. So I like to break it up into kind of sides. This is more of a navigation radio kind of side, except for the radar and weapon part, but more on the kind of thigh area. And then this is more of a tactical side. You got your jammer, your RWR, countermeasure, data link. So I like to think of it like that. The only difference is on this side you do have a bit of the radar controls, which are on my HOTAS, on my stick and throttle for me. And you have your weapon controls up the top left here. But other than that, mostly navigation purposes and communications down here. And the top is all business up here. This is looking outside the airplane. Okay, so great, and thank you for watching this video again. Hope that takes you through a pretty good tour of the F-14, and we'll get to our next video. I believe the next one's going to be startups, so we'll do that, and hope you enjoy. So Discord's down below. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.